Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So today we will discuss about that hydrogen handling and the generation.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So hydrogen handling we are doing now, but generation earlier we used to generate at the field station level. Now, due to various reason, and we are procuring the cylinders instead of generating it. Okay, if it is possible to procure, it is well and good, and we can procure and we can use it. In case if you want to produce the hydrogen gas at your station, then there are methods you have to follow. But anyhow, handling of is required a lot of safety precautions. So that related to that particular points today we will discuss. And I hope another one class or two class is sufficient for me. And almost I have covered everything except that advanced techniques which is available. So that alone we will discuss in the coming classes. And almost everything is finished. And today we will discuss about related to the hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen gas is used to inflate the balloon. Okay, so now you are aware of that, and hydrogen gas is used for lifting the Sunday. Okay, so we can use either hydrogen gas or we can use helium gas. Okay, so helium is little bit safer when compared to hydrogen, but based on the cost-effective measures, and IMD is using the hydrogen gas. Okay, so IMD has started a hydrogen factory at Agra in 1925 onwards, and the factory is running at Agra. And now, due to shortage of staff and various issues, that operation has been suspended, and they are not regularly supplying uh, gas to all stations. But I think a few years back, they used to regularly supply the hydrogen gas for every station. Okay. And the methodology they are using for generating the hydrogen gas is electrolysis process. So the electrolysis process means you have to synthesize the water. Okay, you have to use that caustic soda as well as the water. Then you have to synthesize with the help of electricity. So the gas, the hydrogen available in water will be segregated into hydrogen as well as oxygen. And whatever hydrogen is segregated from the water, that will be stored into the cylinder, and that will be supplied to the station. So that process is called the electrolysis process. And one way we can say this method is called the purest form of hydrogen generation, because this will not create any residues, or it will not create any what pollution, so that it's a clean hydrogen gas generation, or you can say it's a clean hydrogen production. Okay, so we can say that I have given that annual production capacity is 28,000 cubic meter under standard conditions. Standard condition means due to various climatological conditions, stock is not available or power cut. If some issues are there, then the production level will reduce. Otherwise, they can able to produce. Okay, so some of the things I have mentioned here: power cut, etc. Then the source of hydrogen gas to be used for pollen inflation shall be made on the basis of operational and economic feasibility. helium, I already told, helium gas also be utilized, but a little bit costlier than hydrogen. Okay. This is for generation of hydrogen gas at the station. Say for example, Minamagam we have a hydrogen generator. We generally produce the hydrogen gas at our observatory itself. Uh, now now we are storing the hydrogen gas which is procured from some firms, right? So we are when we were generating the gas, what we used to do, this is the methodology. So we have to take one charge of caustic soda. One charge means it is roughly 2.11 kilograms. Okay, so 2.1 kg of caustic soda. Then roughly 1.99, roughly 2 kgs of perovskite. Okay, so these two things should be added in a cylinder. The cylinder capacity is about 15 liters of water. You have to add approximately capacity is 45 liters, but you have to add 15 liters of water inside that 45 liters of cylinder. Then you have to add 2 kg, roughly 2 kgs of caustic soda, then 1 kg of roughly 2 kg. It means one charge of perovskite. So here the caustic soda will react with water, then it will produce hydrogen gas, and then ferrosilicon will act as a catalyst. Okay, so the entire process is exothermic process. So that the exothermic means heat will be generated, and then the heat will go. In the next slide, I have that information. For very high temperatures. So you have to take care of, and you need not use this gas immediately. Okay, you have to wait for cooling time, etc. You have to maintain that procedure. Then only you can use this gas for pollen relief, etc. And other details related to this cylinder, say for example, test pressure for the cylinder is 5,000 pounds per square inch, and working pressure we are maintaining with 2,000. And safety disk is also there. So safety disk means we have a copper disk in the nozzle. Okay, if the cylinder pressure level is going beyond 3,000, then the copper disk will burst. Okay, so that cylinder pressure is 5,000. Disk pressure is only 3,000, and our working pressure is about 2,000 pounds per square inch. So to safety arrangements, we made such type of arrangements. Okay, and we have to use a plain water only, roughly 27-degree centigrade. It's a plain water. It's a ideal temperature water only we have to use for this particular purpose. Okay. So if you use, then immediately the gas will be generated. This is the reaction for that particular purpose. Caustic soda, NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, to NaOH. Then we are using perovskite. So the ferrous will act as a catalyst, and then silicon, along with this silicon, then it will form a sodium silicate here. Okay, then two hydrogen atom will be released, and purity of this gas is about 96 to 99 percentage of purity. Okay, and production per charge is 3 cubic meter. And then, as I already told, it is a exothermic process, and the heat will go up to 150-degree. Okay, you can realize that even if you put this caustic soda, ferrosilicon, then add water, then immediately it will start generating the gas. Then it will the heat will be very high temperature. You can realize you cannot touch that cylinder. Okay, then you have to wait for at least 12 to 24 hours. then 12 to 24 hours period of time it will be slowly cooling itself. Then you have to use in case if even if 24 hours cool after 24 hours also if you feel it is very hot, then you have to pour that water over that cylinder to cool down. Then the cooled gas only you have to fill up for your balloon. Otherwise what will happen if you use a hot gas, then your balloon will burst. Okay, and hydrogen is also very dangerous and explosive gas. Okay, so you have to take care of all these things. Okay, and here in the cold condition, the pressure level is 1200 to 1500 pounds per square inch. Okay, so minimum cooling time is about 12 hours, but in general, we will keep that cylinder for 24 hours. So, say for example, if today morning we are consuming from one cylinder, then immediately after releasing the balloon, we will recharge the cylinder. Okay, then that cylinder will be used for the next day. Okay, sometimes if you want, you can use in the evening, but you have to ensure that whether proper cooling has taken place or not. If it's not properly cooled, then you have to wait for some time, or you have to pour the water over the cylinder, then you have to cool it, then you can use it. Okay, for emergency purpose only we have to do. Otherwise, you have to allow it for the natural cooling method. Then this sodium silicate will come as a residue. Okay, so you have to take it out with the help of some stick or something. Then you have to add water and clean that cylinder. Otherwise, what will happen? This residue will store inside that cylinder. Slowly it will deposit inside the cylinder. Then finally, what will happen? The space available for the gas generation, etc., will be limited. Then the pressure level will go in the very high pressure and it will burst. Okay, so that problem is there. So to avoid that, you have to clean that cylinder properly while recharging the cylinder. So that is also very essential. Okay, so only the skilled labor should be engaged for filling the balloon as well as generating gas. Okay, it needs some amount of exposure, knowledge, etc. If that is not there, then that will be very dangerous for handling the hydrogen, etc. Because completely this is a explodable gas. Okay, hydrogen is a highly explodable gas. Right. Then the cylinder shall be stored in a non-metallic racks, but most of the stations they are not properly maintaining it. But as per the standard, you have to keep that cylinders etc. in a non-metallic standards. And all the cylinders should be tied with a cable. Cable means it should be properly earthed. Okay, so you have to create a proper earthing bit. Then that cylinder from the earthing bit onwards, you have to bring out cables to each cylinders, and then the cylinder should be connected with that. Okay, so that if any static voltage generation is there from that hydrogen gas, then that static voltage will be properly earthed and it will be discharged. Otherwise, what will happen? That static voltage itself will ignite the fire. So if once fire happens, then it will explode. So to avoid this one, your cylinder should be properly earthed for safety aspect. And your cylinder should be keep in a non-metallic rack, not with metallic rack, so that if it is in metallic rack, then there are possibility for static voltage generation, and if that will ignite any spark, anything, then that will create an explosion. So to avoid that, it has to be stored in non-metallic racks only. Okay, and the cylinder which we have to use is ISI make cylinders only, and the cylinder should be tested with the pressure test at least once in 5 years or once in 10 years. Okay, without pressure testing, you should not use that cylinders. Okay, so that also we have to take care, and cylinders which will require for testing near future should be used for first. So you should not keep that hydrogen gas for longer time. So if you feel that you want to test that cylinder, then that has to be emptied first. Okay, so that's what we are trying to mention here, right? Then obviously, in the hydrogen storage location or hydrogen shell, you're supposed to keep the heat detectors, or you can keep that leak detectors, etc. And the smoke detectors are also you can install there. Okay, so that if any smoke or heat or any fire, any nearby things is happening, then alarm will come. Then you can safeguard your cylinders. Okay, otherwise, if anything is happening, then that will be disaster. So we have made during my tenure, I have made the testing arrangement. Then firefighting equipments, everything we have maintained at the station level. So the same type of thing you have to ensure at your station also. Okay. Uh, then that then what the temperature sensitive taps and crayons should be used for marking the cylinders, etc. So that is also very important, right? Then the upper air sides of hydrogen from cylinder shall inflate the balloon using only one cylinder at a time. Okay, so if one cylinder is not sufficient, you completely use that cylinder and remove it. Then you attach with another cylinder. Then you have to inflate it. Otherwise, what will happen sometimes if you are connecting with the two cylinders, etc., to the same balloon, then there will be a possible for leakage. Then that will create a problem. Okay. Cylinder shall not be moved. So cylinder should be kept in a proper position, and you have to fill up that balloon, everything in the proper connectors are there. Okay, so using that only you have to do it, and if possible, it has to be put in the table. Okay, that is the best method. Cylinder shall be secured so that it won't fall. So it means during your inflation of balloon, cylinder should not move. Okay, if any friction or anything is there, then that will create a spark, then that will explode. Okay, so to avoid that, you have to keep the cylinders in a proper position without any movement or anything. Then you start inflating the balloon. So that is the procedure. Anyhow, you are not going to inflate the balloons, but the casual laborers or the DPS only they are doing this type of work. Your duty is you have to ensure the safety, and you have to monitor whether all these precautions are taken while inflating the balloon. Okay, and a multi-stage regulator should be attached to the cylinder. So if you see that cylinder regulator, first you have to attach that regulator with the cylinder, then you take that proper hose pipe with that regulator from the cylinder, and then pressure gauge will be there, then how much pressure is there in the cylinder to monitor. Then you have to slowly release the gas to the balloon, and balloon filling, there are precautions you have to take. What are all the precautions? The balloon should be kept in a very neat and clean area. Okay, it should not have any dust or any other needle-like things. Should not be there. Okay, and balloon filling area should be very neat and clean. And the balloon thickness after inflating the balloon, and if it is going with a rate of 30 kilometers, etc., then the thickness of the balloon will be less than 1 mm. Okay, and in that condition, if the any small scratches the balloon, that will burst. Okay, so such type of things are also there. So you have to keep that environmental very neat and clean, and you should ensure that hydrogen should not escape while filling the balloon. No leak should be there. If any leakage, anything is there, then that will create a static voltage. So that you have to ensure it. Then cylinder walls to be closed properly before and after attaching and removing the balloon or regulator. Okay. Never let the hydrogen escape into the atmosphere. Improper practices which allow the hydrogen flee from the cylinder are dangerous and could result in an unexpected ignition. So you should not release the hydrogen gas into the atmosphere. Suppose in case if you are filled with one balloon and you are noticed that there is a gas leakage in the balloon, so what you have to do? You have to release that balloon without attaching the sardine. So let it go. Okay, and instead of that, if you release the gas from the balloon in the station itself, or outside or inside that storage area, then that will be harmful. So what you have to do, if you observe that the balloon is filled and it is found there some leakage is there, then without attaching any load or radius on it, just release into the atmosphere. So that is the best way to take a precaution, right? Then so the operators of hydrogen generating equipment shall satisfactorily complete and upper year safety precautions. Operator training course are certified by the station in charge and should be demonstrated. So you have to give training regularly to the staff. Then only you can use it. Just 1 minute. I have 1 minute. Okay, so the safety precautions to be pasted in that inflating area, and RSLW unit shall ensure that all persons working with the hydrogen generator are familiar with the operating and safety instructions. So that is very much essential. Yeah. So I already told about the earthing as well as the grounding. So the nozzle, the weights, the cutoff hole, the regulator, and the cylinder shall be connected to a common ground by a qualified and trained person for this task. Okay, so cylinder should be attached with earthing, proper earthing, and that cable should be connected with a proper ground earthing. So first you have to create in your station a ground earthing. Then from that you have to take a copper wire to the cylinder, each cylinder. Then it has to be properly earthing for the safety. Okay, grounding strips are required around the filling bench to assure the passive grounding of the operator during the filling operations. So that is we have to maintain it. But over a period of time, what I have been observed now, other people are very lethargic way. They simply connect that balloon without connecting that earthing, etc. And they can able to fill up the balloon. It is possible, but in case if one day if any leakage or static voltage develop, then that will create an explosion. Okay, so you have to always follow the strict instructions that will save us. That is why we have to ensure the safety first, right? And grounding strips should also be provided for the balloons during the filling operation and remaining connected with the secured filling operation. It means even if you are filling with the gas, your cylinder should be earthed. Okay, so the cylinder should be properly earthed. Then you have to fill up the balloon. So that is what I am trying to say. Okay, so then next, there are common instructions there for filling up the balloon. One the first point is no smoking or make flame is allowed. Okay, so inside that hydrogen fill up area, it is a no smoking area. It means any smoking or some fire, anything should not be allowed inside the hydrogen storage area. Okay, if possible, avoid wearing clothes made of nylon or synthetic fibers. Okay, you supposed to use only with cotton clothes. Okay, the person who is inflating the balloon should wear only the cotton clothes. They should not wear the nylon or synthetic fiber related materials. Okay, so that may create a static voltage. Okay, so to avoid that, you have to use. Do not wear with rubber shoes. So rubber shoes should not be used. You have to use a proper soles other than rubber. Okay, so that is also mandatory. Regularly check the gas tube fits. Okay, uh, fits securely to the gas cylinder and generator nozzle and to the balloon inflation nozzle. So you have to attach with the nozzle with the balloon inflation, and you have to attach the regular weights, how much amount of gas you want to add up to the balloon depending on the weight of the sunday and ascending rate, etc. Okay, so all these things you have to take into consideration while filling the balloon, right? Then take care to prevent the gas leak in the shed when interrupting inflation to replace the gas cylinder. Okay, there should not be any gas leak even if you are changing the new cylinder or anything. Okay, never use a repaired balloon. If any leakage is there, that balloon should not be used. That is very essential. Okay, and if the leak develops in the balloon during inflation, do not let the gas escape from the balloon inside the set if possible. Instead, release the balloon as if. That's what I am doing. Okay, do not touch the balloon with bare hands except when holding it by the neck. So you have to touch the balloon only with the neck, not other parts you should not touch. Even if you are touching the balloon with the empty hand, that itself is possible for weakening the balloon. Okay, you should not touch it, and the balloon should not attach with any dust or anything. The area should be very neat and clean. Okay, so these are all some of the points. Okay, that's why we should not do. Say for example, make sure that there are no pointed objects inside the set. Nails, hooks, hangers, padlocks, or similar items are dangerous as the scratch inflated balloon. Okay, the balloon film is only 0.05 to zero 0.1 mm thick upon launch. Okay, the slightest scratch could cause the balloon to burst permanently, prematurely. So the balloon will be prematurely uh, explode. Okay, so to avoid that, the balloon burst at premature stage, you should ensure that it should not touch with your empty hand. You possibly have to use with cotton socks, etc. Okay, and no dust particles should attach with the balloon. Okay, at any cost. Okay, so that you have to maintain. Keep the doors of the shed shut while inflating the balloon on a windy day. Okay, but we have to do that thing. We have an area to inflation with the open shutter only. but you should ensure that there should not be a ventilation. Heavy wind should come inside, then that will disturb. Okay, otherwise noise. And no unauthorized person shall be allowed to admit inside the shed. Okay, so you should not allow any other persons other than operators inside the hydrogen filled area. Make sure that all tools and other implements not essential for balloon inflation have been removed from the set. So what is the meaning? Only the required items to be stored inside the hydrogen set. Other items should not be kept inside the hydrogen shed. That's what we just wanted to mention. Okay, do not take any electrical devices such as cell phone, the balloon filling shed, or close to the inflated hydrogen. A safe distance when the outdoor is typically 1.5 meters. So you should not carry your cell phone. The smoking person should not go inside. Nearby, you should not fire any materials or anything. So unnecessarily heat generation device should not be there in nearby area. Okay, and your hydrogen shed should be away from that. And even in the olden days, we should not use the kerosene lamp type of things. Okay, so the hydrogen shed itself, if you ensure that it will be properly shielded, lightings only we have to use. Okay, if you use that normal type of conduction type of bulb, etc., that will ignite arcing, etc. To avoid that, we are using it with a covered sealed bulbs only. Okay, so that also you have to ensure. Then connectors and tubing. Avoid taking the radiation inside the balloon filling area if possible. So the sondage should be attached outside the balloon filling area. You should not carry that sondage inside. So all the regulations you have to ensure. So that is very essential for safe operations. Okay, so in the near to that hydrogen shed, smoking or bringing fire or taking the cell phone, you strictly avoid. You have to strictly avoid that things, and you should not use or should not permit any person to carry the cell phones, etc., etc. Okay, so that is a very risky one. Okay, and in case if you are unable to remove that cylinder cap or something, you should not use any metallic or something. You have to use mallet type of things only to gently tap, etc. Okay, so that also you have to use. If you use hammer, metallic hammer, etc., then that is dangerous. Okay, and if you are unable to use, okay, due to rusting or something, if you are unable to open that valve or something, then you have to keep that cylinder, keep the cylinder separately, so that you should not use it. You return it to the factory. Okay, or you ensure with safety precautions to open it. Okay, you cannot simply you can tap and hit, then that will create a problem. And you should ensure that the person who is involved in gas filling, they should wear proper clothes, and if possible they should wear the protection goggles also. So that is also well and good. But the nylon type of cloths or synthetic materials usage may be possible for static voltage creation. So that should be avoided. Okay, and you may be noticing, if those who are handling the balloon, etc., may be noticing that the balloon will be having in the inner coat and outer coat with chalk borders. So that is anti-static agent. So that is well and good. Okay, so that is also one of the better way to use it. Filling pressure of the sounding balloon shall not exceed 2 bars. So what you want to do, the sounding, you have to slowly inflate the balloon. You have to take at least 20 to 30 minutes for filling up the balloon, so that the balloon will uniformly expand, slowly it will expand. If balloon with the rapid speed with 5 minutes, 3 minutes or 10 minutes, then definitely your balloon will become big. Okay, if it is big, then premature burst will take place. It may not reach the desired height. Okay, so to avoid all these things, you have to ensure the safety precautions regularly, and the person who is involving in the gas filling, they should properly train, and they should be given training as well as the exposure condition. If you use any heat or sparks, anything that will definitely explode. To avoid all these things, you should ensure that such habits should be stopped. Okay, so first one, smoking. Second one, taking the cell phone to that particular area. And third one, ensure all the light fittings and earthing. Okay, then neat and clean area, and unnecessarily other articles should not be keep inside that area. Okay, and dust, that area should be dust free. So if you ensure all these things, then it is well and good, and you can ensure the safety also. Okay, so now we are not generating it, but in case if any requirements comes for gas generation, then you have to ensure that with proper persons. So the untrained person or unskilled person cannot be engaged for filling the balloon and cannot be engaged for generating the hydrogen gas, etc. So they need some sort of training as well as skill to generate the gas and filling the balloon, etc. Okay, so that also you have to ensure. And that storage is also a big problem. So you have to store that hydrogen cylinder in a proper way, well ventilated, and you should keep as much as possible in the wooden bag instead of metal bag, etc. So that you have to ensure. And cylinder should not, if you keep one after another, then there may be a chance to falling, and that may damage that cylinder. Then that will create a problem. So all the small things related to the safety of this particular hydrogen handling, you people should ensure. Okay. So today, I hope you may understand that safety precautions. What are all the safety precautions which we have to follow for hydrogen filling, etc. So now hope you are understanding it. Some questions may come, okay, from this unit also. So the next class I will try to take some other advanced technique, what is lidar, what is wind profiler, etc. So that I will take. And today's class, that's all from my side. You have any doubt, you can try ask now. Otherwise, we will stop at this stage. Okay. Right. Any doubt related to this today's class? Okay. Then we will leave this class. Okay. Right. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.